Okay, so here's a special service announcement from the 32-year broadcast of the African American News. I'd like to tell you guys our first broadcast was October the 22nd, 1993, when Terminator X, Chuck D, S1W James Norman, S1W Rogers, Professor Griff, when we all decided to branch off and start doing this TV broadcast. And we've always tried to cover the concerns of the African American community, and then we would cover the concerns of the larger community, because all of the issues that impact the African American community were not the same that impacted the other communities. But now we're getting a lot of calls to the TV studio, a lot of calls that are disturbing. And what these calls are doing is showing us where the government butchering of all of the support network for the working class, the low and middle class, those things have been decimated. Now, this is what's going on. The supermarkets, when you go to the supermarkets on a normal payday or Friday or a Thursday or a Saturday morning, supermarkets are empty. They're operating on the weekend at probably half the capacity that they normally would, because no one is able to go and buy groceries. A grocery bag, depending upon where you shop, is between $25 to $50 for one grocery bag. So now what does that mean? The food pantries aren't being impacted because they're running out of food earlier than they normally would, because people who are the working lower class are going to food pantries. The people who are low and middle income, they're going to the food pantries. So this is how that works. The food pantries are normally funded by the extra food from supermarkets. Now the supermarkets aren't getting any customers and aren't able to sell food. So now a lot of food is going to go wasted, or it's going to go to those food pantries, but they're not moving food. So now people can't afford food pantries. Then the other thing is the electric bills. The Home Energy Assistance Program, HEAP, popularly known, is closed here in Nassau County. It's closed, and it is not servicing people to help them with the light bill that has gone up. You know, the electric bill and gas bills have increased. So now people aren't able to pay their electricity because of all of the catchment support group organizations, mainly HEAP, is not there. Then you have people who are not able to buy medicine, okay, because of not only the government shutdown, because of the impending cuts as well. So people are having to decide to buy food or medicine or pay a bill. That also impacts people who are trying to get social services. All of the catchment agencies that were government funded are out of money or running out of money, and now they're telling everybody to go to social services. Social services is turning away people. They're turning people away. I'm getting calls for that. And you have working class people who are barely getting by, living paycheck to paycheck. Now they're going and they're stealing. Yeah, they're stealing. Okay, so how does that impact you? What's going to happen? Okay, drug use is going to spike. Already we have a spike. Drug use is going to spike. Also, sex trafficking. What are women who can't get services for their children? They can't get their food. They can't get the medical for their kid. They can't get, the SNAP, and they can't get the WIC programs and those things. Now, what are they going to do? They're going to use their body. Okay, so we're going to have drug increase for people all across the board. Then we're going to have sex trafficking. And then what are the men going to do? The men, they're going to turn to illegal activity, crime. So you're going to have an increase in crime from car thefts, burglaries, robberies, and all of the things that go along with that, associated with that. So that's probably why Elon Musk and Trump gutted all of those agencies that were catchment for people who would fall financially to any one of those cracks for any one of those services that they need. So we're the African American News. We're on the ground and we're seeing the impact of these cuts. So News 12, Newsday, I reached out to them to see if they were getting the same kind of calls that I was getting, and they're going to get back to me. So we'll see where that goes, because I'm sure that they could go and create a kind of a index or a kind of a listing of all of the community-based organizations who are, their bylaws are to support people in any one of these areas of medicine or medical attention or social services such as housing or food or shelter, and as well as even clothing. So clothing is being impacted as well. So this is what we're going to go into in this holiday season. The Orwellian cuts by Trump and that piece of crap Elon Musk. So this is what the Make America Great Again is all about, is to put people in the street. So that's the calls that we're getting, and they're very disturbing. And we're a small nonprofit organization serving the community for 32 years. We're going to get out here and we're going to do our best to try to link up people with the proper organizations that could support them, where social services and all the U.S. federal government services will not be providing. And in closing, what I'll say is this. I went to the March on Wall Street, and this is what made the March on Wall Street with the National Action Network a joke. The reason why it was a joke, when I got there, what I saw was this. You had the low, middle income and working class marching in the streets. And they were in wheelchairs, they were on crutches. I mean, these people were very poverty stricken, as you could see when you watch the video, which I'm going to roll right now. And so that's what you had. 80% of the participants were of the working class and the poor and the lower class, middle class. And they were marching. And then when you got to the stage, where everybody was on the stage, the people on the stage who were talking were all of the celebrities, and mostly the Democratic Party. We even had some Democrats out here that even wouldn't even speak to our cameras when they saw us. Some of the local Democrats, some of them like Noah Burrows. He acted like he didn't even see me and my camera crew. But that's another subject, your local representative. And he was there, they wouldn't let him speak. So on the stage, you had the majority were Democratic people speaking, Democrats. Then behind the stage, you had all of these big buck stars of different industries that were backstage, just like a rap show. So nobody, they had the press pit. We were right there with the press crew. We were in the press pit. We were all over the place. But it struck me as how they had this little pecking, what you would call a caste system. So the poor people got out there and marched, right? And they believe in whatever they're going to be hearing these speakers to energize them and motivate them. And they've been saying the same thing, Eric Dyson and Mr. Crump and Mr. Sharpton. But for the most part, it was Democrats. So what it looked like and what they told us it was going to be was a march on Wall Street. But what it turned out to be, it was a rally for Democrats for the 2020 run-up elections. This is what it was. Because one of the things that I noticed most part when I got there, for being 32 years now, there was no police presence at this march. That struck out to me the most. Because anytime you have a march of that magnitude with over 100,000 people, you're going to see a heavy police force. And the reason why there wasn't a heavy police force, because it was a Democratic-run event. And they were not going to have, since New York is ran by Democrats, a massive police overreach force with the kettling and all of that stuff that police are known to do. That wasn't going on. So I knew at the beginning when I got there that something was up. And that's what it was. It was a Democratic rally for the run-up to the 2026 midterm elections. And this is what made it really a disgrace. I was wondering why, when I asked the National Action Network, well, where's the list to boycott these companies that we're going to tell people don't participate? And They never provided a list. I said, what are the programs they're going to give for small businesses? They never provided me with that. And I spoke to the people who are in charge of that. And this is what they gave me. Once the event was over, I wouldn't air the show. And I said, I'm not going to air the show until you give me paperwork. And the paperwork wasn't good, like my cousin who has a clothing line called Paperwork Good. You guys got to check him out on Instagram, Paperwork Good. But so they didn't produce the list. And when they got around to talk to me and give me what I needed, they said that Al Sharpton wants people to go and buy stocks in those companies that redline us and don't have DEI or affirmative action or inclusion. He said that they want you guys, the poor people who can't afford medicine, who can't afford food, who can't afford shelter or clothing. He said, y'all should buy stocks. And I said, wow, Al Sharpton is a millionaire. Why would he tell poor people this is the message? And I found out probably about a month later after that march, which was just probably about 2 weeks ago, Al Sharpton had endorsed the casino that Jay-Z wanted to build in Times Square. So he was playing a game of let me go over here and threaten Wall Street, and then over here I want to get some money from the casino people for my endorsement, because he was getting something out of that deal. And even if it was intimidating the casino people to show them that, hey, we'll protest Wall Street, we'll come after you. So thankfully and gratefully, that casino was canned. That proposal was voted down because people said it would change and destroy the quality of that community. So I know they had an actor who was on The Wire, and he wanted to support it because they were going to promise a $250 million and put a African-American owned theater in there. But still, this is just shows the hypocrisy of these fake leaders that everyone think is going to save them. And what I'll say in closing is this, everybody out there. I would urge men and women in our community, stick together. Okay? All of this black men and black women against each other, it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to let you stay divided and be co-opted by the powers that want to oppress and destroy our community. So you got to stick together. If you don't stick together, you're going to fall. Okay? Because I don't give a shit what religion you are, because I don't believe in Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, or what you call it, Catholicism or Judaism, or any of those religions, because they're there to destroy people and create slaves. The worst thing that has happened to African Americans is for them to believe that there is going to be a rapture and the sky is going to open up and we're going to be caught up to meet him. Okay? While everybody else lives in luxury. The rich and the super rich and even the upper middle class, they're not waiting for none of that because they're living comfortable. So remember this, African Americans and my sisters and brothers in the white community, because they are getting totally destroyed. They're getting treated worse than we ever could have gotten. So this is their fight. Yeah, this is their fight, because they voted for this guy and they put him in office, and now he's destroying them. I'm talking to you white guys out there, white ladies, white families. Your community is being decimated as well. And now you know what it feels like to be poor. Okay? So in closing, I will tell all of you guys, the only one who can save you is you.